Hey guys, so the quote this morning is from Seneca, and what we're looking at here is silence is strength, or silence is golden, as is probably a saying that we've all heard over the years from our children all the way up. Now, one saying that I always hear throughout my army career, and even with outside of that as well, was always that empty vessels make the loudest noise. Okay. And I always think of being in a big, long, empty, old submarine and shouting and hearing that echo. And it is true that empty vessels make the loudest noise. But what that really means is, and why we can link it to this quote, is that sometimes we can find strength in silence. So, in other words, to put it simple, sometimes you keep your gob shut and just listen, okay? But the art of listening is long gone. And we've spoken this before. Even before I start doing these videos, we spoke about energy connection and talking to your partner, talking to your friends, family, your circle. But listening to them. When you meet Mick or Mary in the shop there and they start telling you about their day, you're there like a puppy waiting to tell you about their day, and you wanted to spew all the information on them. You haven't a fucking clue what they said. So we don't listen. And a lot of time, people say things just to sound cool. Or they're sitting there waiting on the opportunity to speak because you're in a group and they want to look learned and confident and look what I know and listen to me. And then you can have people who they feel inadequate in themselves, or they're kind of they need to be loud and be above everybody else to hide their frailties, to hide their lack of knowledge, to hide their lack of confidence. We all have come across these people. Quite possibly we have been these people or that person at some stage in our life. And sometimes we can feel, when we say something, we can actually feel foolish then, because we realise afterwards, why did I say that? I put my foot in my mouth is lots of expressions today, isn't it? But it's another thing, and it's a well-known saying. And having an ability to be in a group and to listen intently as to what's happening gives you a much greater perception of what's going on in the world and what's going on in that circle. Being in the group and being like the little puppy there waiting to speak and to get your opinion across, that means sweet FA really, like, do you mean? Because opinion is not fact-based. So, but we want to do this, we want to be that bigger person and shout from the rooftops how great we are, and we can tend to say the wrong thing then because we don't really know what we're meant to be saying. So we try and look cool. Or again, it's because I've come across this a lot where someone will come in and start calling the shots, being all aggressive and being all taking control. But really, they're having a fucking clue what they're on about. They've no knowledge about what's going on, but they'll try and use their aggression to try and control the situation, to make it look like they're commanding, like they know what they're on about. Probably don't. And it can be the same in any walk of life, where whether it's in work or at home or where you meet your friends, if we listen more intently, we'll have a much better energy connection. So silence is strength. We get it mixed up and we flip it and we think, I better say something, I better talk, I better get I'll say something, anything at all, just to be heard, just to be part of the group. Sometimes it's better to say nothing. Take it all in. And it's funny because there'll often be a quiet person in a group, whether it's in a boardroom, it's in the canteen, whether it's in whatever it is your circle you're in, yeah? There's a quiet enough person. And when the shit hits the fan and things are going kind of skew ways, or there's arguments, or there's discontent, or there's the energy disconnection, sometimes the quiet person steps in and goes, whoa, how about we look at it this way? From a different perspective. They don't spew their opinion on you and say, hey, well, I'm right, you're all wrong. They come in and ask you to comprehend something in a different way, to look at it from a different angle, to take yourself out of a situation and be that third person or the fly in the wall, and how do you perceive what's going on? Because they've been sitting there in silence. They've been taking everything in. I'm not saying don't speak and just sit in the corner. There's a balance here. As I said about these quotes before, it's not literally don't speak for months and then just go, hey, I know everything. It's about finding balance in your day. It's about pausing. Something we rarely do is taking that breath. We haven't mentioned breath work in quite a while. So when something happens, to breathe in, to hold that breath and breathe out and say, how can we react here in an emotional way? What kind of emotions do I have? What's my perception of what's going on? Silence. I didn't speak there for a couple of seconds. Can be awkward, can't it? But silence can be strength. Can be very, very powerful. And silence can be confidence. I actually went to speaker school. I went to speaker school with his name actually, Jerry Duffy. Okay, excellent. What a fantastic guy. What a fantastic journey that man has been on. And I'll be honest, I went in there prepped. We had to prep a certain talk we had to give for a few minutes. So you were under time pressure. And you're giving a talk to these people that don't know you from Adam. And I went up there and I crashed and burned. Crashed and burned. Because I went up and gave what I thought would be expected of me. So I went up there and did that. And then we had a little powwow afterwards. And he told me pretty much how brutal it was and what I could do to revisit it and to change my aspect, to change my approach, to change my tone, my mannerisms, everything. Ripped to the shreds, yeah? Learning experience. So then we went out for coffee, outside for coffee, and he gave me a new topic. He says, pick a new topic. So we got a new topic. And I had 20 minutes. Not 2 weeks to prepare it, 20 minutes to prepare my 3-minute speech, okay, or talk, whatever. So I grabbed the coffee, grabbed a notebook, blank piece of paper, and I put down a few things on it. And I took on board what he said. Okay? Now, when I went back into that room for my turn, you know the nerves, the apprehension, the old shaking the tummy, and you're like, oh, I was brutal earlier. How bad can I be now? I thought, you know, fuck it, why not? Like, I can't be as bad as I was. But surely I picked up some tips. So I gave my 3-minute talk. And there was silence in the room. Now, this is not patting the back, Davey. It's nothing to do with that at all. But I gave my 3-minute talk. And what I picked up on, what Jerry said to me, was a couple of main things. Silence at the start. Pausing when I speak. Imparting in a way that people will listen, connect with you. Not telling people, not shouting down at them, but pausing and controlling things. And there was silence in the room because the guys were actually dumbfounded because of the difference within a short space of time. It's not that I'm any better than anybody else. It was just I picked up on that silence and that calmness that we can bring to ourselves. And if we can bring that into everyday life, how we react and respond to people by being calm and taking that moment to breathe is amazing. And the reason I kind of honed in on that is because he told me a story of how he was at a talk, a couple of thousand people, and he went out to do this talk, and there was noise. You know these conferences where a speaker comes on after the break and no one gives a shit. No one cares. It's like, I'm getting me coffee, I'm chatting to this person, I'm doing this, my phone, I'm checking Facebook, I'm taking selfies, and your man's there talking, I don't give a shit what he's saying. That's what happens at these things if you go to them, yeah? And normally they'll kind of try and shout you down or get your attention or get you doing jump jacks, something ridiculously silly to try and get your attention, yeah? Now, what Jerry did was he walked out on the stage and he just stood there. He stood in silence, which is a scary thing to do because everybody's waiting. And within seconds, not minutes, which would have taken him to shut everybody down, within seconds, people started to turn and look and was going, what's this guy doing? What's this guy all about? He had the audience straight away. He captivated them with no words at all. Nothing. Not a tap on the mic. Not a, excuse me, not a please be quiet, sit down, not a fucking jump jack or hands, knees and elbows and toes and all that kind of shit that they do. It was silence. And he gained respect because people were like, whoa, this guy has something to say. By saying nothing. And people took their seats and were going, shh, listen. this guy's on next. Half of them hadn't a fucking clue who he was. Not a breeze. But him standing there in just a relaxed pose, with calmness, in silence, waiting, captivated the room. Guys, silence is strength, it's power, and it is golden. Have a great one, have a smash one, and we chat it tomorrow.